Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's video. That will take us to around the 27th of September, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, taking us into the beginning of October. We'll have a look at CFSV2 for the next month as well. That takes us well into October. I will show you the temperature and precipitation anomalies for the ECM for the next 4 weeks as well. We've not been able to bring you the ECM WF 30-day look ahead today. Been really busy today doing other things, so I haven't had time to do that update. It will be back next week, next Tuesday. But we will very quickly go through those temperature and precipitation anomalies from the ECMWF at the Hungarian Met Office for the next 4 weeks later in the video. So this is going to be a bit of an extended video, but I am running very late. It's nearly 20 to 4 when I'm recording this, so it'll probably be after 5 o'clock when you start watching this. But just been one of those days, been a very busy day indeed. Now, before I get on with anything else, I'm going to say a big thank you to our latest PayPal donor. We have had another donation through PayPal for gas service. So a big thank you to Soterios Lakis. Soterios Lakis has become our latest PayPal donor, and thank you so much, Soterios, for doing that. It's very kind and generous of you to become another PayPal donor for Gazwevids. So thank you so much for doing that. If you would like to become a donor for Gazwevids through PayPal, all you need to do is come to the Gazwevids PayPal page, sign into your PayPal account, give a donation to Gazwevids, any amount of money that you would like, and by doing that, you'll get a mention, you get a shout out in videos as long as you want. But if you'd rather stay anonymous, then just leave a little note with your donation to let us know that you would rather stay anonymous, and then we'll just say thank you to this anonymous person. But otherwise, you're going to get a mention and you're going to get a shout out in the videos. Alternatively, you can become a patron for Gazwevids. So we have 62 patrons so far. Hello and a big thank you to our 62 patrons. We hope very much that you are enjoying the content at Gazwevids. So if you would like to become a patron of Gazwevids, all you need to do, come to the Patreon page, Gazwevids Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, and then give an ongoing monthly donation. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards to Gazwevids. By doing that, you become a patron for Gazwevids. We will give you a mention and a shout out in videos. We'll say thank you so much for doing that. So, you're helping us to pay for the website, gazwevids.com. We've been making a lot of upgrades to website recently, so I think it's looking quite nice. And you're helping us pay for the website, helping us keep content online. So, just a huge thank you to all of our patrons and all of our donors for Gazwevids. It's really kind what you're doing. And of course, a special thank you to our latest donor, Soterios Lakis. Thank you so much, Soterios, for doing that. Right, so let's get on with video. And I'm going to start off in the tropical Atlantic as usual at this time of the year. So we've got 3 interest areas. We've got this yellow X just here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's disturbance 2 with a 30% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours and a 30% chance in the next 5 days. They're saying if this one, shower activity associated with a broad area of low pressure located over the northwestern Gulf of Mexico near the central Texas coast has changed little in organisation. However, some slight even development is possible before the system moves inland along the northwestern Gulf Coast later tonight and early on Wednesday. Regardless of developments, this disturbance is expected to produce areas of very heavy rainfall and possible flash flooding along the coast regions of southwestern Louisiana and also the central and upper Texas coast tonight and on Wednesday too, and over the eastern part of Texas and western Louisiana on Thursday. For additional information, see products issued by your local weather forecast office and the Weather Prediction Centre. 30% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, 30% chance in the next 5 days. We have this red X just here, right in the middle of the tropical Atlantic. That's disturbance 1 with a 90% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. So with this one, they're saying a small low pressure system is located around 1,000 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. The associated shower and thunderstorm activity has increased and become a little better organised this morning, and conditions are expected to be conducive for the formation of a tropical depression during the next day or so, while the system moves slowly northwestward across the tropical Atlantic. 90% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone in the next 2 days, and a 90% chance in the next 5 days. This looks very likely to be our next named storm. I'm not sure what the next name is. I've got a feeling it might be something like Hurricane or Tropical Storm Isabella or something like that, but I'm not absolutely sure what the next name will be. I have to look that up on the Wikipedia page for this particular hurricane season, and we may well have the name by tomorrow, actually, anyway. And then also we've got Hurricane Humberto up here in the further north in the tropical Atlantic. So at the moment, this is a Category 1 hurricane, giving maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. And it's moving east-northeastwards at 8 miles per hour. If we click the forecast track of Humberto, this is it. So Hurricane Humberto is just here. So it's probably around Category 2 now, and it looks like by the time we get through to Wednesday, tomorrow, we're actually taking this up to Category 3 now. So that's a major hurricane heading towards Bermuda through the course of tomorrow. And then it pushes further northward, so by Saturday it's up here, and by the time you get through to Sunday, it's gone post-tropical as it's moving out into the cooler waters of the North Atlantic. So Humberto is looking like going to be a major hurricane as it heads into major Category 3 hurricane as it heads in towards Bermuda. Let's hope it doesn't do too much damage. Right, so coming back to closer to home, these are how the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking for the next couple of weeks. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Manchester. We're starting off a bit on the cooler side today, but over the next few days, temperatures will be lifting up. We're going to get quite warm again by the time we get through into the weekend. We're going to have another push-up in temperatures, both in terms of upper air temperatures and surface temperatures, possibly taking us up towards the mid-20s Celsius, I would have thought, by the time we get through to Saturday down in that far southeastern corner. Not in Manchester, of course, but somewhere like central London might get 25 on Saturday, 77 in Fahrenheit. After that, temperatures are declining and dropping. We're going back close to average as we go through the final week of September, and it's also getting more unsettled too, precipitation-wise. Lots of dry weather up to the weekend, and then over the weekend and into next week, here come the precipitation spikes. It's not looking excessively wet, but it is certainly looking more unsettled than we've been used to for quite some time. And those unsettled conditions could actually carry on into the early part of October. That's certainly how the GFS ensembles are looking, although, of course, that is a very long way out, of course. So this is our temperature anomaly for the next week, taking us from 17th to 25th of September. So coming out a little bit warmer than average, not a big deviation, but certainly slightly above average with the temperature anomaly. Precipitation-wise, generally dry on average through most parts of the country from the 17th to 25th of September. England and Wales, particularly, still looking dry on average. Probably close to average for Scotland and Northern Ireland. We may see these charts beginning to trend a little bit more unsettled in the days ahead. That's how the GFS is looking for Friday. High pressure is well and truly in control still on Friday, mainly dry and pretty warm as well. There's Humberto on Saturday heading into the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean, just there. High pressure by then is beginning to slip away into eastern parts of Europe, with low pressure developing out into the Atlantic. The squeeze of the ice bars pulls the winds up from the south, and so that's the reason temperatures are lifting up at the end of the week and into the weekend. 25 Celsius is possible in London, 77 Fahrenheit on Saturday afternoon. That's not bad for the 21st of September. However, this low pressure continues to push eastwards as we go into Sunday. That will spread cloud and showery outbreaks of rain across the country Saturday through to Sunday. Don't rule out chances of something a little bit funky perhaps happening then. And following on behind will be cooler air from off the Atlantic. Will start to turn cooler and fresher with those showery conditions spreading eastwards. Into next week looking rather unsettled. Low pressure becoming quite a significant feature to the northwest of Scotland. That's Monday, bringing wet and windy weather into the north and the west. And then on Tuesday, probably quite an active system pushing across the country, taking outbreaks of rain, maybe even into the south and southeast, following on behind cooler, fresher air and a pretty brisk northwesterly wind. And then through the rest of next week, it looks rather changeable in the north. In the south, we are trying to build this ridge back up again, though. So how much of a breakdown we get in the south remains to be seen next week. Got a little bit beyond day 10 to Saturday the 28th of September. Looks rather mixed, probably gently unsettled. Certainly not a deluge, though. As we head up towards the early part of October, actually we tried to build high pressure again to the south and the southeast, always more unsettled out to the north and west. That's how we look at the very end of this particular GFS run, which is for Thursday, the 3rd of October. And yes, it does look rather unsettled at this point, but of course this is over 2 weeks away. This is the GEM. Again, high pressure is dominating the scene on Friday, bringing lots of dry and warm weather. There's those southerly winds wafting up the air from the Mediterranean on Saturday. Going to be a very warm day, I think, in the southeast anyway, on Saturday. Sunday through to Monday, these areas of low pressure in the Atlantic are gradually breaking things down. It's turning more unsettled. It's quite a deep area of low pressure out to west of Ireland on Tuesday, 985 millibars. I think that contains the remains of Hurricane Humberto as well. So that could give us a spell of wet and windy weather, especially at the western side of the country sometime around Monday to Tuesday. And then we're heading to extended range with the GM up to day 10. And look at that. High pressure is starting to reform to the south again, so very quickly that unsettled, let's say unsettled interlude, it's no more than that really, starts to break down and we begin to shift back towards high pressure once again. ECM looking like this, so mainly dry, fine and warm on Friday. Into Saturday, there's those warm southerly winds. And then over weekend, later in weekend anyway, Sunday, it's up to more unsettled low pressure heading in off the Atlantic, means showers, if not longer spells of rain. We're quite unsettled by the middle of next week. We've got a pretty strong westerly wind there. And certainly from the north and west, showers, longer spells of rain. Even in the south, you wouldn't rule out the chance of a little bit of rain through the course of next week as well. That's how we look at day 10, which is Friday, 27th of September. And a little bit of ridging starting to take place in the south. Still looks quite unsettled, though, up in the north. These are the options that are on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is 27th of September. So we have 19 members of the ECM ensembles that have low pressure up to our north and high pressure to our south. They're bringing in this westerly wind, so quite unsettled, quite showery, particularly unsettled in the north, a little bit less so perhaps down in the south. We have 13 members of the ECM ensembles with a ridge building through the country from the east, so they're mainly dry. 11 with low pressure or below average heights out to the northwest, fitting in this westerly wind, so they're rather showery, especially for the north. And then 8, including the operational run, that has low pressure to the east and high pressure building both to the west and to the southwest too. That's probably been unsettled in the days before, but by day 10 probably starting to see this high pressure starting to move in. Overall, still quite unsettled at day 10 within the ECM ensembles today. In 2 weeks' time, though, it looks like we're shifting back towards high pressure for early October within the ECM ensemble. So this is 360 hours away, 2nd of October. It's 2 weeks, it's a long way out. But look at this, it's got 14 members of the ECM ensembles that have this big area of high pressure sitting to the east and northeast of the country. That'll be feeding in easy winds, mainly dry with those. 14 with high pressure to the south. Not much low pressure to the north. 8 with high pressure pretty much slap bang over the top of the country. Another 8 with high pressure just a little bit more to the west northwest of us, but again that's going to be mainly dry, if perhaps a bit on the cool side with winds coming in from the east And then just these 7 here that are actually unsettled for early October. So a very minority option to be unsettled for the start of October with those 7 and high pressure out to the northwest. It does look as though the model output could be shifting towards high pressure coming back again through early October, returning us to mainly dry conditions. What the temperature would be would depend greatly on the exact air mass, because by October, of course, you can have very warm conditions still in early October. You can still get into the mid to upper 20s Celsius. I think I have recorded 30 Celsius on the 1st of October before now. So it can actually still be very hot in early October, but it can also be quite cool. It just depends on the exact origins of the air with that area of high pressure. But it definitely looks as though model output wants to shift back towards high pressure from the beginning of October. Now, as I said at the start of the video, I haven't had time to do the ECM doing a 30-day look ahead for you today, but I am going to show you the temperature and precipitation anomalies from the ECM 30-day update. Just so you can get a rough idea of what they're showing. So many northern and eastern parts of Europe are looking quite cool in week ahead. This is week 1, taking us from the 16th to 22nd of September. Quite cool in the north and the east. Pretty warm, though, in the west. That includes the UK, also Ireland, France, Spain and Portugal. So a proper east-west split there with Germany marking the dividing line. Pretty dry as well in the week ahead, so most parts of Europe from the 16th, 22nd of September, particularly the central and western areas, are looking dry. Also dry down in the southeast corner, just a little bit more unsettled in the northeast. Let's go through to week 2, if we can do that. And this week, which is the 23rd, 29th of September, looking warm across pretty much all parts of Europe. Those cooler than average temperature anomalies are pushed back to west of Russia and then down the Black Sea, possibly towards Greece and Turkey. Otherwise, most other parts of Europe are looking quite warm, particularly so through this central area where we have a temperature between 3 and 6 degrees above average. So a warm final week to September, but more unsettled in the northwest. It's wetter than average through Scandinavia, UK, Ireland, much of Germany, or Western Germany anyway, Low Countries, France. So quite wet there. In the east and the southeast, it looks pretty dry. Much of the Mediterranean is also looking quite dry then. Go through to week 3. We can do that, which is going to be taking us from the 30th of September to the 6th of October. Overall, again, looking pretty warm across most parts of Europe. The anomaly is reducing, as it always does, by the time you go this far out. But generally, most places are on the warmer side of average anyway, let's say. And precipitation-wise, that is also a reducing signal. Still looks wetter than average in the north of Europe. Probably a bit drier than average through the Med. Otherwise, not a particularly strong signal. And then finally, week 4, which is week 41 for this year. Overall, it looks like the temperature anomaly is still holding up around or above average through many parts of Europe in this week. No sign of any particularly cooler than average temperature anomalies, and if anything, it looks rather on the drier side, particularly for the northwest. So you can see, but close to the UK and also Scandinavia, northern Germany looks quite dry then, possibly just hinting that the ECM wants to go back to high pressure again as we get through to the early part of October. Let's just have a look at CFSV2 before we go. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods, and the first weekly period will take us from the 17th to the 23rd of September. The coming week is dominated by high pressure. Above average heights are sitting across the west and central part of Europe, below average heights up to the northeast and out in the Atlantic. The flow of the jet is going to be doing something a bit like that. So on the warm side of the jet, we're close to that ridge. There's going to be plenty of dry and warm weather in the week ahead. Week 2 looks more unsettled. This is the 24th of September to the 30th. And we have below average heights up to our north. We have above average heights down to the south, just there. And we're bringing in westerly winds. So obviously that's going to be a rather cooler and more unsettled final week to September. But very quickly, we're back to high pressure again in week 3. This is the 1st to the 7th of October. Above average heights again coming back to our north and northeast. That will be bringing in the wind from an east or northeasterly direction, mainly dry, settled, probably not overly warm, but pleasant enough, I would have thought. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 8th to the 14th of October, above average heights again, this time centred over Scandinavia, though, in a big area of high pressure over Scandinavia. Below average heights in the middle of the Atlantic. The flow and the jet could be doing something a bit like that, so that actually might be pulling up some quite warm air from a southerly to southeasterly direction. Maybe hints of a bit of an Indian summer there as we're heading into the second week of October. Remember, the warm weather that we've got at the moment is not an Indian summer, although a lot of people would term it as such. But Indian summer is really warm weather occurring later than this. So it would be a spell of unusually warm weather after the first frost, really is the official definition of Indian summer, which really encompasses October and even November, actually, although we don't get much excessively warm weather in November in this country, or very rarely do we do that. It's something that happens more in a North American type climate. But Indian summer is more for October and November. What we've got at the moment is kind of like a spell of late summer weather. So anyway, hints of an Indian summer there perhaps from the CFS by the middle of October. Right, that's it for your video for today. Sorry I wasn't able to get the ECMWF 30-day look ahead done on its own terms. We did very quickly go through those temperature and precipitation anomalies though in this video, and we will be back with the ECMWF 30-day next Tuesday. Of course, tomorrow we've got the 5-day forecast, and we'll have a week to 10-day video update for you as well tomorrow, as always. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.